At the same time, I'll read verse 3, and by God's grace, this morning I will try and put the finishing touches as the Lord places it in my spirit this earlier of the morning to share with us, and we'll move on from there. Verse 1 says, 2 Corinthians chapter number 3, verse 1. And that begins the reading of God's word. Do we begin again to commend ourselves? Or need we, as some others, epistles of commendation to you or letters of commendation from you? You are our epistle, written in our hearts, known and read of all men. Last week I asked you to sample the word known and read of all men. That was what I looked at extensively last week. Verse 3 says, for as much as you are manifestly declared to be the epistle of Christ. I want you to underline that. Look at, for as much as ye are manifestly, look at the word declared, to be the epistle of Christ. I love that. Declared to be the epistle of Christ. You see in verse 2, he said, you are written epistle. In verse 3, he said, for as much as you are manifestly declared to be the epistle of Christ, ministered by us, written not in ink, but with the Spirit of the living God, not in tables of stone, but in fleshly table of the heart. Verse 4, and as such does we through the Christ to God's word, not that we are sufficient of ourselves to think anything as of ourselves, but our sufficiency is of God, who has made us able minister of the New Testament, not of the letter, but of the Spirit. For the letter killeth. You know, I went to check what the word letter means there in the Greek. In the Greek, the word letter there means grammar. So I said, no wonder grammar kills. He said, but the Spirit gave it what? Life. He said, not of the letter, but of the Spirit. For the letter killeth. Why should the letter kill? So it's not the epistle he was writing around about, because when you talk about the epistle, you are talking about the letter. But the word letter there in the Greek is the word grammar, where we got the word grammar from in the Latin. Are you following me?
Yes, sir.
He said the letter killeth, but the Spirit gave it life. And that what it simply means is that a man can blow grammar and blow grammar and blow grammar. But you know what? It may not actually make sense in a man's life. But there's something about the Spirit from God's word that recreates, that redirects, that brings a change in the life of a person. Are you following me this morning? Last week, ladies and gentlemen, I begin to look at the second verse of 2 Corinthians chapter number 3, verse 2, where the Bible says, we are epistle known and read. And one of the things in which I said was this. I said, we are epistles that are being read by different set of people. I said, you may be the only letter in which someone that does not know God or someone that does not walk in integrity reads and see and may actually change his life. He said, we are epistles that are known and read by all men. I said, that simply means that, what it simply means is this: we are being read by men. I said, a believer is a collection of books, or a collection of what I call encyclopedia, which talks about different aspects of your life. I said, I look at some people and I saw their fervency in serving God. All I could read from them is what? Fervency. You look at Baba Adeboye, you look at him, all you can see about him is humility. In fact, you want to actually have the same type of humility that the man has. Are you following me? You want to walk in that sense. The Bible says, let us follow those who through faith and patience inherit the promise. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, as you walk around, people are actually what? Reading you. What people read about you will it hinder them from actually going more deeper with God, or will it actually help them to serve God better? Are you following me? So you and I have been read, and I look at categories of different people that are reading you. The way you read the newspaper, so they are reading you. As you come in, they look at you. As you go out, they look at you. They look at the way you treat your wife. They look at the way you treat your husband. They look at the way you pastor. They look at the way you pray. They look at the way you study God's word. They look at how focused in which you are. Whereby some people will look and say, if that man is a Christian, then also I am. I said, anytime an unbeliever or someone or a pagan said, if you call yourself a Christian, I too also am a Christian. With a bottle of beer in front of him and with a stick of cigarette in his hand, and he said, if you call yourself a Christian, he too is also a Christian. Then that means that what he read about you is not good enough. Are you following me this morning? Are you following me this morning? And I said, when people read us, you and I should reflect Jesus. Our life should reflect it. What does it mean to reflect? That means that when people see us, they will look at us and they will see him. Are you following me? They look at us and what they see is him. I remember that was sung by the Maranatha in the 82s, in the 80s. He said, when you look at me, is your righteousness that you see. Lord, make me pure in heart. So, I may be, or you may be the only, just the only epistle in which someone will read, or a letter that someone will read, and there will be a turnaround in their lives. But this morning, I want to go ahead and look at what the Lord placed in my heart as I tie it up this morning. Look at verse 3. Verse 3 says, for as much as you are manifestly declared, look at the word declared, to be the epistle of Christ ministered by us. I love the word declared. The word declared means that it was said, it was around. And I want you to write this down, listen and gentlemen, when it comes to an epistle, or when it comes to a letter. When it comes to a letter, when it comes to an epistle, there is something in the mind of the writer before he puts it out. Oh, don't forget, you and I are what epistles. And the Bible says we are declared epistles. How? Written not with ink, but with the Spirit of the living God. Not in the table of stones, but in the fleshy tables of our hearts. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, any letter that anybody writes, that letter communicates what is in the heart of that person. Let me say it again. Anytime anyone writes a letter, that letter communicates what is in the heart of that person. The Bible describes you and I as what? Epistles. That means that when people see us, we should communicate what is in the mind of the Father. Oh God. Are you here?
Yes, sir.
Are you here? Thank God for the technologies of the phone now. You know, when you want to laugh and you say you are smiling, you know, you put that stuff there. You're not seeing much, but you laugh and all the teeth are coming out. What have you done? You have communicated what is your mind out. Oh, are you not on WhatsApp? You know, or you want to say, you want to clap. You know, you just use two hands there clapping. Even when you don't say anything, what that clap has communicated what is in your heart.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Or you are smiling I have seen people say, and I said, are you still tears here? Then I said, well, where they are, they have communicated what is in their mind to me. Are you here? Don't you see those? You see what do you call it? Emoticons or what do you call it? Emojis. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, there is something in the mind of God when He communicated to us by writing. Exodus chapter number 31, the last verse. God wanted to communicate His mind to the children of Israel. So you know what He did by Himself? He cut the stone by Himself. And He wrote on the stone with His finger. Genesis 31. So somebody here. Or Exodus 31. I beg your pardon. Exodus 31. Exodus 31. Exodus 31. Are we there? Yes. Verse 18. And the Bible says, and the Lord gave unto Moses, when he has made an end of communion with him upon Mount Sinai, 2 tablets of testimony, tables of stone written with the finger of God. What was on those tablets? It was the mind of God that He wanted to communicate to the world, to the children of Israel. Someone said, where did the stone came from? God cut it himself. The next verse, Moses took the stone and broke it. And God said, this time around, I won't cut it by myself. You will do the cutting. He said, the first one I cut, it took you 40 days. The first one I cut, you broke. This one, you know what it means to cut a stone? Are you here? Are you here? You know what it is to cut a stone? He said, the Bible says, and God healed the stone out, brought it out by Himself, and wrote on it with His hand. In fact, it was said that from Genesis chapter number 1 to that verse, there has never been any letter or anything written that has communicated to a man. So the first one that was communicated to a man, the man that was meant to carry it because of anger and broke it. And God said, you know what? If they can break the tablet, I won't write on the tablet anymore. Oh, are you here? He said, I will now begin to write on their heart. Can you break the heart? Are you following me? Are you here? Yes. From there, nothing was written that you can read and write. But He didn't put it out. And Moses saw it, he broke it. And God said, you know what? Next morning, after you have finished, next morning, you will come up on the mountain. 40 days, 40 nights. I can imagine Moses going up and said, this time around, you'll be the one that writes it. I will dictate to you and you write. And you know, in the morning, they carry the first step. His heart will be panting. I don't know what I'm going to do. The second leg, and he walked up the mountain. This time around with the tablet in his hand. Are you following me? Yes, are you following me? Are you following me? With the tablet in his heart. And God dictated to him this time around. Sometimes when God asks you to do some certain things, if He get it to you to be done without any stress sometimes, when you know what it means to pass through it, you know how to cherish it. When he came back, the children of Israel did more worse. Did you break that one? Did you? Because he understands what it means to cut the stone. Tell your neighbor, cut the stone. Are you here? Have you been to the rock before? You cut a rock. I mean, you cut, shield it out. You can imagine the labor. You can imagine the sweat. That's why we have learned to take the grace for granted many times. We are not meant to frustrate the grace. Are you following me? If you know what it means, if you know what it means to put it out by God Himself, you won't drop it. You won't break it. You won't frustrate that grace. And you said over and over and over. No matter how you feel, no matter, you will never frustrate the grace. You know, sometimes we say, let's stretch it, stretch it, stretch it. You can stretch grace, but don't frustrate it. You commit sin, you commit sin. We're in the situation of grace. Yes, it's true. But even though if that be, don't frustrate it. Let me go ahead. So a letter depicts what is in the heart, or what is in the heart of the Father. He passed it across. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believe in him shall not perish but have what? Everlasting life. So you know what? Jesus came and he made you and I little saviors that we can actually save others. What was in his mind? Redemption was in his mind. What was in his mind? Salvation was in his mind. What was in his mind? Reconciliation was in his mind. And don't forget, that was what was in his mind. Let me tell you two things when a letter is being written. The first thing is this: they are always legible. Have you ever read a letter that is not legible? What do? You put it aside. Do you remember the word legible? The word legible means to be cleared. When we are writing GC, they will say write legibly, because the person that will write, that will mark your paper is not there. You have communicated what you know to them. If it's not legible enough, what will happen? So listen, ladies and gentlemen. We are actually epistles that were ministered by us. That's what Apostle Paul said. And you know what? Those letters should be legible. Those letters are legible. What makes a letter not to be legible? It is not the function of the writer. Many times it has to do with the ink or with the paper. Are you here this morning? Are you here this morning? Many times it's not the function of the writer. There is no problem with him that is writing. But the problem is what is being written on. And you are the papers being ministered to, being written on. The pen are actually ministers day in day out that come and they write on the tablet of our hearts. They write the mind, the will of God on the tablet of our hearts. But you know what? We always have a choice to do or not to do. Oh, are you following me? The letters are very legible. Legible in the sense that it is readable. They can read it. They can grasp it. Number two. The second thing about we being declared an epistle is this: is that apart from it being legible, it is also what? You can understand it. What is the essence of a letter written and you don't understand? Are you there? Let me say it again. What is the essence of you are writing a letter to someone and the person does not understand? So if you and I are actually an epistle that God has actually written, then our life should be understood. Get the crux of this message this morning. But you know the reason why people's lives are not understood many times? Because there are a lot of what? Contradictions. Are you here? It is not what you see that you get. It is not what you see that you get. The mind of the writer, he wants to communicate to the world through us. He wants the world to see through us. Number one, he writes legibly. Number one. Then number two, that every man, that everybody can see, can understand. But you know the crux of this message this morning is this: many times people see our lives or what we profess but it's a different thing that they see. Are you here this morning? Are you here this morning? Don't forget, verse 2 says, we are read by all men. Something happened on, was it on Monday, on Tuesday? We got back. And in front of the car, we have the ambulance. And on the ambulance, we have the ambulance for the comfort. And we have a neighbor that lives downstairs. And you know what? Where I was from upstairs, I saw her in front of the car. She stood in front of the car for like 5 minutes, trying to see. If I said, no, come and help me. I said, if I go out now, I will embarrass this woman. But I will not. Let's watch from the window. She was there for like 5 minutes. She was not even afraid that if I even come out and say, excuse me, what are you doing there? She stood there and she looked at it, look at it, look at it, look at it, look at it, and look at it. So when she was satisfied, she went to bed. Then I said, you know what? We have been read daily. So you now come into the compound and say, oh, no. But listen, that's why there has not to be any contradiction between the life that we profess that we live from what we do behind. Are you here? See, many times the reason why people find it very difficult to follow is because what they see is not what they get. But if it's an epistle, you and I are epistle. There's no contradiction. Are you with me? There's no contradiction. You say you are going to church, we know that's where we find you. You told them, I'm going to church in the house, but you didn't know you are going to. You are going to the boutique. And you sat down there and you begin to play altar. You said, did you go to church? Yes, I went to church. And you now say, Pastor Mrs. Okay, but did you see? Did you see him church? He said, no, it's not yet. But he told me he was going to church. Are you here? Are you here? There shouldn't be any contradiction. And listen, even though if there are contradictions, the contradiction should fizzle out as you grow, as you mature in Him. That's why I always say there's no one, when it comes to serving God, there's no one leg in, one leg out. There are many one leg in, one leg out these days. If you're a pastor, let us know you're a pastor. You are not a spiritual babalawo. I know you want to. If you're a pastor, let's know you're a pastor. Don't ask people to bring oil and call it back to the sender. Don't do that. Let's know. Let me tell you, what's the difference between a spiritual babalawo and a pastor? Court, guys. Court.